Well, now that I got the grill made, I've got some old scrap of stainless. Most people won't recognize this, but it's just a piece of a door from McDonald's. Something I used to work for. I was just going to go in the trash, so I reclaimed it as instead of metal recycling. Anyway, I'm going to cut out a chunk here, make a handle for the top, and do a like a grill scraper. Put a little edge on it and make a nice handle for it so I can clean the top of the flat top, etc. I know you can buy them for about $4 to $8, but I thought since I have the stainless, it might be kind of fun to make it. This one's currently about 4 inches by 7. So I thought that'd be a good size. It fits between the holes, and try it out, see what happens. So for the handle of this device, I just cut some, set the saw at about 1/8 of an inch. And I got some different contrasting woods. Got some wingy on the front, some hickory, purple heart, and some tiger wood. So of those 4, I just cut a bunch of strips of 1/8 inch, about 2 inch by 7 inches long, and then glued them up overnight with some, not waterproof, but water resistant glue. Made them in 2 halves because I want to put the saw kerf, cut a saw kerf in here on both sides to fit that piece of stainless on. So when you put the handle together, the saw kerf will be in between there, and we'll drill some holes for dowel pins, shape the handle a little bit, and but anyway, this is in its somewhat rough form here anyway. So now that I have my blocks pretty much set where I want them, I've determined what side I want the piece of steel on, and I've set this saw height to 1 inch, and the stainless is about 1/32 thick. So I'm cutting hopefully about a 64th off of this as we pass it through 1 inch up, and that's where it'll sit, or at least half of it will sit. And I'll adjust it for this one, do the same thing on this side, and then keep measuring as I go. Maybe go a tiny little bit at a time so that I can get the kerf on this side, not necessarily to match this one, but at least to fit the stainless relatively tight in that slot. So now I'm to the point where I've got to drill the holes, and I decided that maybe I would attach the stainless to the wood handle with some dowel pins. So I've got a dowel cutter. There's a 3/8 inch dowel cutter, and that way I can decide what colors or whatever I want to do to make it look a little nicer, a little fancy. Anyway, I got a 3-inch dowel cutter, so I'm making 4 3/8 inch holes, and I'm doing those in a step process. So I did the first 2 sides, first 2 ends, and then put 3/8 inch bolts in there to hold that in place. I got the other 2 holes marked, and I got this one drilled already, but I'm using step drills from a small one to this 1/4, 5/16, and then 3/8. So that's where I'm at with that. So we'll finish cutting this 4th hole and then move on from there. So I've got this all set up to drill some dowel pins. We got a nice piece of white ash. I think it'd make a nice contrast against the darker woods. So I'm going to make 4 dowel pins for that handle to put the to attach the metal to, and epoxy it all in place. So that's what I'll be doing here, is making some dowel pins. And just cut them off on the bandsaw. It should pop out. And again, just using a piece of file paper with the shape of the handle kind of pressed into it there. I just drew a rough shape that was pleasant to me, and cut that out, and we'll put that on the handle, get that cut out. So not perfect, but certainly got her smoothed out a little bit, and then we'll run it through the router to put a nice round edge on this this side. Initially, I've got the height of the bit cranked down a little bit here, just to start out, because I need to grab this corner, and sometimes if it's up too much, it's not the safest deal. So we got it cranked down, and we'll kind of move it up as we go. It's kind of a nice profile on that whole edge that you're going to be having your hand on. I'm going to do a bit of sanding. I got the saw set to a 10-degree angle this way. I'm just going to take a little bit of a kerf off of the outside bottom edge on both of them. So you have to make sure that you keep this flat edge up against the fence because it wants to tip. I got the blade down as far as I can to keep my fingers away, and there's a little edge for this to skate on, so I think we'll be okay. Anytime you can expose the other layers of your glue up, it makes for a nicer look. So expose another layer there, and on the opposite side as well.
Yeah, put some points on there, huh?
Now this may seem a little more basic, but I did cut a piece about the same width as this so my hole is straight, and to finish this final one off and a hole to hang it with, start with a pilot bit, and got that punched where I want it. Just to get one final look at this piece, I am making a second one, so I may include some of that, but it turned out okay. Put a little bit of a bevel on the edge, certainly not to a sharp point. It's got an edge, but it brings that metal down to a little more reasonable. I think it turned out okay. Brought the stainless down to about a 600 grit. It gives it a nice satin look. Got a good feel in your hand, and put a hole at the very end here to, you're going to put it on a hook or something on your grill. So that's it. It's a quick, easy project, kind of fun. Looks nice. No one else will have one like it.